Do you think Dexter might be able to tell us how Butterfree can get that other Butterfree to be its mate? Dexter's never been in love. Hey, maybe the podcast can help.
Hey, I'm Veronica Taylor.
And I'm Rena Taylor.
And this is The Trainer's Guide.
Today's episode?
Bye-bye, Butterfree.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. It's episode 20.
I know.
Can't believe it.
We've gotten to, I think, one of the most well-known episodes of all time.
Yeah. The most beloved, in a sense. And
I know.
Also maybe not hated, but beloved in a sad way.
Yes.
Like sadly happy.
Like it's, I think we can definitely say that we're a bit apprehensive to do it, you know?
Yes.
We don't.
I also,
We
I
love
should
it,
say
but we
too,
don't want to do it.
Right. It occurs to me also that I said the titles of the episodes before I knew what the episode was going to be about.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard this in rewatching, and the title is just like, bye-bye.
Right.
And there's no indication about what's really happening in
Yeah,
it.
like you didn't say it in a way that you're like, bye-bye,
I think I would have said,
Butterfree.
or
Bye-bye, Butterfree.
Yeah.
really heartfelt.
Right.
We've had good times.
But let's not
Yeah.
give that away yet.
But now you're
because
just, bye-bye.
who knows?
See ya.
Have a nice
good luck,
trip.
old man.
See you next
Yeah.
fall. Good luck, old
See you next
man.
fall.
That's funny. Bye, chap.
Okay. Anyway, before we can be so happy now because it's the beginning and we have no idea what's
Totally.
coming up.
We're in the season of love, man. Everything is cool.
Season of love. And you know, Rent was big on Broadway when this came out.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's what you could be like. 500
Butterflies in the
Butterfree
sky.
in the sky. Yes, exactly. All looking for mates to lay their eggs across the sea.
The sea. Will Brock find love? What about Butterfree?
okay, we are now on the cliffs.
We're doing this.
And Brock has pulled out a map, which I always think is a good idea.
Totally.
And the path leads to Saffron City.
Which I don't remember. I mean, this is really, we said it in the beginning where, you know, I was born at the end of the first season, but I swear I've definitely seen some of these episodes before, but I've not seen this one. And I don't remember Saffron City being a thing. So I think we're really getting into territory that is unknown to me. Or shall
Most
I say
of this is
unknown.
unknown to you. You're such a great poke person. You are like, I don't know, without, it's just, you just
It's in
know
me.
these things
It's
without
in me.
knowing it.
I know, what
It's
can I say?
intuitive.
Yeah, it's part of me.
So getting back to this, we see all these sparkles on the cliff, and of course, Misty, who knows everything, tells us that they are Butterfree.
Yeah. And it's a yearly thing where all the Butterfree come together and it's the season of love. Actually, that's what they call them. And they come together and find mates and then fly across the ocean to lay their eggs.
Yes,
and have
interestingly, have babies, which they talk about a lot in this episode, that they have to have babies. So the point is, most Pokemon are it. They are neither he nor she. And in this, we find out that Butterfree is a boy.
Right. And I mean, some of them are, I think it's more in the video games they have like genders because like Nidoran and Nidorino, those are
Well,
girl,
those were
boy.
exceptions.
No, I
Those
know,
were
I know.
exceptions.
But I'm just saying, I mean, there definitely are some that are actually gendered. But yeah, for the most part, in the show, they don't really deal with that.
And it was really drilled into us that we had to say it all the time.
Right.
So I find that interesting that we know now that this specific Butterfree is a boy. then they decide to go out and check it out, and they jump into a hot air balloon.
I know. Which I love when Misty goes, I didn't think we would find a hot air balloon.
She says, I'm surprised there was a hot air balloon available for rent out here.
Right.
And then Brock knows how to fly it.
I know.
As he's just regulating the flame going up into the balloon. It's just amazing what these kids can do.
Yeah. I mean, they've
got
10.
chutzpah. They've got gumption.
They really do.
And mad skills.
But when you're out on the road, I guess you pick up stuff pretty fast.
That's it. You have to.
Yeah.
It's live or die, right? Well, not exactly, guys. Not exactly. That's just a phrase. Okay, so
Butterfree starts looking for a mate and can't find one. And then it finds a pink one that it falls in love with, and it gets rejected by the pink one.
It reminds me of the first day of school when you're out and you're just kind of looking to make friends, and people have already started forming their little cliques and their little groups, and they don't talk to you, and it's just that it's so demoralizing when people don't open their hearts for you and just invite you in, because everyone is new on the first day of school.
I know.
So this is just a sad reminder that people can be mean. Yeah. And then it's kind of awkward, that whole trying to make friends. And I don't know, you really have to be yourself. And it's awkward when you are kind of rejected for that. I know.
I mean, hey, it's the same in the dating world. If it's hard for Butterfree, there's no hope for the rest of us.
I know, that's true. And then also, Butterfree likes that pink one. But for the most part, as Misty says, how can you tell what type maybe they're not?
Yes.
Brock says, maybe they're not Butterfree's type. And she says, what do you mean? They all look the same.
Right.
And he said, no, there's subtle differences in the way they fly, or the
pattern on their wing.
Yeah, all of those little things, which, again, I think we can all relate to, that you can't judge people just by first glance or how they look.
Totally, yeah.
At all. You have to really get to know people.
Yeah, and you're gonna find somebody who you click with. You know, there's tons of people, and sometimes you just won't mesh with them.
That's right.
But
you have to just keep trying.
Finds the one. He finds the one in this pink Butterfree.
And begins to do the courtship dance.
Yes,
which is twirling around.
Which is kind of interesting, because that is, what certain animals do. So, I mean, we're really incorporating a lot of stuff. You can learn a lot, obviously, as we already know. But, yeah, Butterfree does the courtship dance and then gets smacked by the pink Butterfree.
It's crazy that it's so brutal.
I know.
And yet, it's dejected and runs away.
Yeah. So
that's sad.
They go and they comfort Butterfree, and they say, we've got to. She just has to see what you can do. So you got to show off your moves. You got to show your gust attack, and your stun spore. You got to show her off. Show her what you can do. And Brock says, and get a new look. So they tie a little scarf on Butterfree. Right.
I know.
So cute.
I think maybe this pep talk that Ash gives is what every parent feels also. He says, I just don't understand it. My Butterfree's great. Why would any other Butterfree reject it? Mm-hmm. Butterfree, maybe you just have to show off your strengths and let others see how great you are. Show how powerful your tackle is, or how you can use stun spore. Let's give it another try. Yeah. And so I think I probably have said that to you many times.
I cannot count how many times you've said, Rena, just show them your stun spore.
Right, get out there and be confident.
Classic.
Right, in that voice too. And then you'd go, Mom.
Yeah, Mom.
Oh, these glimpses into our home life. Okay,
totally.
So anyway, they go out to find Butterfree. They've got it. They've put it back in the balloon. They go back up, and they send it back out. It tries its whirlwind tackle, and just then Team Rocket appears.
Of course, as they do
with their
yes, which I thought that the balloon that the kids got in the beginning, I thought that was going to be like Team Rocket was disguised as the balloon sellers. I thought that was going to be what happened. But no, Team Rocket comes in a helicopter with a giant net and scoops up all the Butterfree.
With great lines like, let's try some networking and nothing but net.
I know. Just classic stuff. And they succeed. It's a pretty good plan because all the people are in the hot air balloons, so they can't move that fast.
Right. And then Ash is going to use Pidgeotto.
Yes.
And Misty says, wait, you can't do that because basically it would offend Butterfree and show how weak it is.
Right. Because Butterfree is the only one, Ash's Butterfree is the only one that doesn't get caught by the net. So it's out there trying everything like, hitting the helicopter and trying to get the net. And it's doing everything in its power to free all the other Butterfree.
Right. And then we get back to the warehouse.
So Ash decides not to use another Pokemon because that would be,
demeaning.
Yeah, rude. Yeah.
So we get back to the warehouse where they're all being kept. And Ash, Misty, and Brock show up and do the motto.
I love this part.
The best.
I know. To protect, what did they say? Something. And she goes, and make it triple.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny. It's just great. And they're so dramatic.
I know.
I don't know. I just love it. And this whole battle that they have, I think it's the most balletic of battles where everyone is just swirling around and the backgrounds are amazing. And I think if you had something moving as a screensaver on your computer, I could have this bit on replay.
That's what I had on my old flip phone when you would open it. And it would have that bicycle would go across the screen.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was the coolest thing. But that would work for this.
It would be so,
you could have them running
beautiful.
Across.
And then it's just like, I don't know. Anyway, I love that part too. But long story short, Butterfree frees all of the other Butterfree from the gigantic net by bashing itself against it, and it breaks. It's quite brittle, rather than ropey. Yeah, but anyway,
the construction of the net is questionable. So
but it's Team Rocket.
We're moving past that. But as Butterfree is slamming itself into this net, of course, the pink Butterfree falls in love.
Would you say it shattered the walls around the pink Butterfree's heart just as it shattered the net? Could you possibly?
Oh my God. Yes.
It's so true. So
that was beautiful.
Thank you. They decide to chase Team Rocket's helicopter. Yeah. And again, in the balloon, Pikachu jumps on the back of Butterfree.
Right. Classic.
And rides Butterfree.
Image.
And then slams up against the glass of the helicopter in just the most epic comic timing of all, with the it just looks at Team Rocket and they look back and they're saying, it's going to shock us. It's just so great. And then it does shock them.
And
the helicopter
explodes. Actually.
Crazy.
A little dramatic. What I love is you see Team Rocket falling and Jessie's holding her skirt.
Oh, I didn't see
As
that.
they're falling down. She's like, James is face front, and Jessie's going, her legs are first, but her legs are like up, and she's holding her skirt down as they fall.
Hilarious.
She's always a lady, that's for sure.
I know. I was watching Pikachu jump back on the back of Butterfree and fly off. Yeah. Amazing stuff.
I just love, I love that part because Pikachu's so cute, and it just jumps onto it, and it's so smiling, and the whole time just smiling.
I know.
It's just it's so cute.
And then gets back to Ash and does the peace sign, and they're both communicating. It's adorable. This whole episode has great teamwork like that, and even though the stakes are high, everyone is joyfully assisting one another with this great win. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so then the Butterfree and the pink Butterfree.
This is the moment we've been waiting for.
Do their love dance.
I know.
You know what? It also occurs to me that our Butterfree, is wearing that scarf, kind of an ascot like Freddie in Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And looking very dapper.
She's his Daphne.
Oh, wow. You're right.
Except I feel like the scarf, in truth, the Butterfree's scarf is a little bit more like Daphne's scarf. Because her scarf tied to the side.
Yes, you're right about
so
that.
maybe the pink Butterfree is the Fred to Ash's Daphne.
It's very gender fluid, which is what Pokemon are.
Totally.
So you don't have to be one thing or another. It's all the big message, which is be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be accepted.
Totally.
You work together. You are yourself. You pull your weight. You help others to be themselves or their selves, and everybody gets along.
Yeah.
And you work things out. So I think it's the scarf is shows us that there is a bigger message to be learned.
Yeah. Or it becomes the inspiration for that story of the girl with the green scarf.
What story
Remember
is that?
that one? That one we used to read all the time?
Oh, no. The one,
you guys know that. You guys know it.
She says
where she has the
they
scarf.
Get married.
No.
She always has the scarf on.
Yeah.
And they court. And he says, can I take your scarf off? And she says, no, I can never remove this scarf.
Yeah.
And then they get married. Can I take your scarf off? No, I can never remove this scarf. And it's just burning inside of him.
Yeah.
So one night when she's asleep, he unties the scarf and her head falls off. See?
That story has stuck with me forever. I think about that. I think that is, when that trend was going around and it was like, you ask men how many times they think of the Roman Empire?
Mm-hmm.
And it was this big trend and it was like, do you think of how many times do you ever think of the Roman Empire? And basically it was just that like all these men basically think about the Roman Empire every day.
Interesting.
Like, I don't know what, but it's such a weird thing.
That is strange.
And so then people are like, this is my Roman Empire. I think the girl with the green scarf is my Roman Empire. Because I do legitimately think about that story all the time.
Mm.
It always just pops
often.
up into my mind.
I'm glad I passed that along to you.
Yeah. Wasn't that in a book of scary stories, or was it just
one? It probably was. I heard it and then found it in a book.
We had
later,
a book because I remember the book was like the girl, and she sat on the swing and she had her green scarf on. I remember those visuals.
Well, it was a much longer story than the short version I just told.
Yeah.
But yes, well, that is also, again, stories that you hear when you were little. The stories like we were talking about last week that you pass down from generation to generation, your family stories, these weird, that story, that's a good message. When someone says no, it means no.
Yeah, no means no. Seriously.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
But just not in the case of the pink Butterfree, because she said no, but then she came around.
Well, no,
but
she just said, I'm not interested. That's like friendship also. So that's different.
But Butterfree respected that. And then
totally.
And then in that sense
proved itself.
Exactly. And they both earned each other's respect by the end. So it's a little bit different.
Totally different. And also Butterfree was doing what it thought was important, not because it was trying to impress someone.
Exactly.
I think that's the other point here, that you have to fight for the right cause.
Right. You've got to do what you believe. Follow your instincts and
That's right. So speaking of following instincts, we now are on the cliff, and Butterfree is about to sail off into to the other side of the sea.
To have babies.
Yeah, with the pink Butterfree. And Ash, Misty, and Brock are saying goodbye. And Ash says goodbye. And then you see his head dip with that shadow going across his face. And Misty and Brock are waving, and he has this whole flashback of when he first caught Caterpie, and then how it transformed into Metapod and then into Butterfree, and of the good times they had, and that cute bit when Butterfree was eating the little food, and it was just so cute.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in his little reverie, and he pulls himself out of it when Brock says, "Oh, he's almost out of sight,"
Mm-hmm.
and then he runs over and saying, "Bye, Butterfree, bye-bye, take care of yourself." And I'll never forget you.
I know.
So beautiful. And then he just says, "Be happy, old friend."
Mm-hmm.
It's so sweet.
I
and
know.
I think Brock's closing line with him saying, essentially, that showed so much courage, and that we all need courage to let someone go, to be themselves, to follow their dreams. And it does take a lot of courage. You have to take yourself out of it to let the person evolve.
Yeah,
and,
I know.
I just think that it's really beautiful. It's very hard to let go. And this is the first instance of that in Pokemon that we see. And I think for many people, it's the first time that they have experienced this kind of loss in a cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. And I mean, I think even that when Ash is saying, I'll just tell the other Pokemon that you're on a trip and that you'll come back one day or whatever. And it just, it really can apply to so many different things. Like if you're moving away and you have to say goodbye to your friends, or if a pet passes away and you have to reconcile with that, or, it's so many.
For family members,
totally,
all of that.
It's all different forms of loss, I think.
Yeah.
That encapsulates how people feel and how you deal with it. And I know I watched this episode. I was out. I was taking a walk and I was having some lunch. And so I was like, I'll watch the episode. And I was sitting out in this cafeteria and I was crying by the end.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, it really just got me tearing up because, and Ash, I think that's the thing is when Ash, like you said, he puts himself aside and he goes, bye. And it's that love. He has so much love and so much care for Butterfree. That he knows that it's more important to show Butterfree that he cares and that he loves it and he's supportive instead of just staying sad. And I think that it's just really powerful. It's really beautiful.
We all, I think this week also, Flacco, which is a Eurasian eagle owl, which was at the Central Park Zoo. A year ago, it got free of its enclosure when I think it was vandalized, actually. And
somebody cut the wire in the enclosure and it escaped. And they still to this day don't know who did it. But somebody opened up the thing and Flacco flew out.
And it spent a year living in Central Park, and people would see it around. And there's tons of pictures and information about Flacco. But he really became just an inspiration to people about, just like we were talking about, he found a way to learn how to survive, and he'd never been in the wild. And so he found a way to hunt. And I saw a picture from someone's living room. There was a cat looking out the window. It was from behind the cat. And you can see Flacco sitting on the fire escape looking in. And it was just kind of a kooky, weird, some people said, owl that flew around and was just such a presence. And this week, it passed away. It hit a window of an apartment building on West 89th Street.
I know. It's
and
so
died.
sad.
And so the thing is, you have a moment like this where everyone before could focus on this amazing inspiration. He showed us freedom and resilience and survival skills, and everyone could really focus on him and look for him. And now everyone can mourn him together. And I think sometimes having moments like this, an episode like this, where we all pull together and our collective grief can be funneled through this. especially nowadays, there's so much going on. We've lost so many people to COVID and every other, there's so many other diseases that people have passed away from. There's so much war happening and just things that happen on the streets. It's difficult for me to talk about it. The thing is that we all need to grieve in some way, and sometimes a moment, an event, an episode like this allows us to open the gate and let the grief flow out. Yeah. There's not a lot of talk about grief in our lives, really.
No.
So when you have an opportunity, it's good to bond over that, I think.
Yeah.
Because you do have to let it out. And we all go through so much. And there are so many ways to grieve.
Yeah, that's true. I know.
Anyway.
And luckily, Ash has his friends who can help
and they're
him
all
along
together
with that and support him afterwards, so...
And I do think they're getting back on the road after this to head toward Saffron City. Thinking about your higher purpose and what keeps you on the road helps you through your grief. And I think that's one way that Ash can. He has hope of reuniting with Butterfree.
Yep.
And he also knows that he has to keep going on his path as well.
Yeah.
So it really pulls everybody together.
It's deep.
Also, it is deep. But speaking of that, the opportunity to pursue your goals and your higher aspirations. This episode is coming out on what normally would be the last day of February.
Which February is technically the season of love. Because of Valentine's Day.
That's right.
So we're really ending this on a high. It's really all coming together.
So, we'll sing the song later.
Oh, yeah.
Sing it.
Yeah, don't worry.
But I always call it leap year day, but it's just leap day. Is that it?
Yeah, it's leap
year.
It's a leap year, but I think the day is actually just leap day.
Okay, so February 29 is leap day. And I think that as you look into why we have it, you can really delve deeper into the history of using calendars and how we need to keep time and how this all evolved. But really, the reason we have leap day is that it takes 365 days, 6 hours, and 9 minutes for the Earth to rotate around the sun. And so if we didn't, every 4 years, that's like a quarter of a day. So every 4 years, we take those 4 little quarter days and put them together into a leap day. And if we didn't do that, summer eventually would end up in November. For summer, we're talking about the northern hemisphere, because everything would just keep getting pushed along.
Oh, interesting.
So because it's only that kind of 6 hours, you don't notice it in the year, but you would eventually notice it as it keeps going, Yeah. So that's why we have a leap day. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
This is the tiniest bit of information, and I hope it inspires you to delve deeper.
Yeah.
But it's leap day.
But yeah, I mean, the craziest thing is leap day apparently this is what I know about leap day. That this is the one day where girls can ask boys to marry them.
Yeah, that's been around for a long time.
Yes, and in fairness, do whatever you want. You should never feel constrained to wait 4 years to then ask somebody to marry them or marry you.
I know.
So
speak up.
Do it. Just do it.
It's the funniest thing of all.
Exactly.
I mean, I find it quite humorous. And
it's pretty great because in this episode, at the end, the girl Butterfree basically asks boy Butterfree to have babies with her.
Yes. They get married across the sea.
She courts him. So it's perfect. It really falls in line with our leap year day.
That's right. So I think we can say this episode really teaches us to feel free to follow your dreams.
Yeah, and be yourself.
Yes, and find those who can help support you in being your true self.
Definitely.
It's an amazing, packed episode.
Yeah. Seasons of love.
Anyway, I think this is a good time for the
Wait, hold on.
Oh my gosh.
Here you go. Bye bye, Butterfree. Bye bye, Butterfree.
Butterfree. This is terrible.
Bye bye, Butterfree.
You know what? We'll put out an album.
Yeah. Thank goodness we can't get copywritten because none of that sounded like remotely close to the original.
I know, and at this rate, no one's going to listen to it anyway. I know.
Yeah, please keep listening.
It was good, though. It was good.
We won't sing if you don't want.
Really, this is the time for the Poke Wrap-Up.
Where we hear from you,
we must leave.
The Pokemon community.
We asked you to send in your favorite Pokemon memories, stories, and inspirations.
And here is one for this week.
Hey guys, Assad here from Poke Collection. I'm based here in Auckland, New Zealand, originally from the UK, and it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you over the years, Veronica, and interviewing you and hosting a panel at Armageddon Expo and everything, and we hope to see you guys down under again very, very soon. And congratulations on this podcast. How awesome. I'm super stoked. So I definitely wanted to, sort of share a little bit of the impact it made on me. I remember watching the original series, doing a really good time of my life. I was in my last year of primary school, actually, in the UK, and of course we had delayed airings of the TV show, but it was always a point of joy for me, and it was a nice little thing to watch every day after school. But we did have a tragedy that hit our sort of family. So unfortunately, because of that, life became a little bit different, and Pokemon actually became a huge escape for me. The voices and the sheer expression and the messages and the themes that came through the episodes were so massive for me that it was such a nice way to escape. Pokemon provided me hope and joy and warmth at a time which felt a little bit colder. My career has now been as a result of me working on things like Poke Collection, doing these pop culture events and all that sort of stuff. So I guess I just wanted to share that with you guys and how much of an impact that made. And also a massive thank you again, because Veronica, you've been an amazing, your breadth of work is beyond just Pokemon, but, we greatly appreciate, I'm sure many other people express the same or similar, how much of an impact you've made on us, along with your fellow cast members on our childhoods, and I think you'll continue to hear that for many, many years to come, and something I hope to share with my son very, very soon as he continues to grow older. So I can't wait for that moment, but hope you guys are doing really well. Can't wait to see you back in New Zealand. We miss you, and we'll see you very soon. Take care.
Thank you so much, Assad, for sharing your memory with us. You are such a special friend, and we always look forward to seeing you and your family. But we want to hear from all of you.
Email us a short recording or write to us at trainersguidepod@gmail.com.
And try to keep it short, maybe 30 seconds or so. We don't want to have to edit. It's just too difficult.
Oh, and please include your first name and where you're from.
Well, that about wraps up today's episode of
The Trainer's Guide.
And, as they say, to be continued. We hope that you continue to join us on this journey that is The Trainer's Guide.
As you know, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wherever you're listening now.
And if you subscribe, comment, and rate the podcast, it helps others find the show and keeps us on the air.
Thank you so much in advance for your generosity and all of your amazing support.
Trainer's Guide is a production of Boom Integrated.
We are co-executive producing this along with
the amazing Adrian Glover
and the incomparable Robin Lai. I'm your host, Veronica Taylor.
And I'm your host, Rena Taylor.
And this has been The Trainer's Guide. We'll see you out there on the road.